What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Everything
with T and
C.
C.
This is our weekly check-in. My name is TJ.
My name is Chelsea.
And if you haven't already, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We're going to be doing this every week.
This week, we're going to be getting into growth, accountability, and struggles.
Yes.
So before we do, we just like to say it's almost Christmas, so we hope you guys are into the spirit right now. We hope you guys are into the festivities.
Hope you're not getting too stressed trying to get gifts.
Yes, last minute shopping, last minute decorations. Do what you got to do. Also, another huge shout out, happy birthday to one of my best friends of 10 years. We love you, Leah. So it was her 30th, so we had a good time. Anyway, our first topic is going to be growth. And we start with definitions because we all want to be clear on what we are talking about and very intentional. Growth, getting better with time, increasing in value. Personal growth, the process of improving skills, knowledge, emotional intelligence, or self-awareness. Baby, how did you grow this week?
Now, if you've seen last week's episode, we talked about quick wins, things you could get done when you're feeling overwhelmed just to kind of get you going. One of the days during the week, had a ton of stuff to do, stuff for work, stuff for the holidays, relationship stuff. And I said, babe, I got to get a quick win. So we jumped in the car. I had to do a return from some sneakers that I ordered online. So we drove out to the store, stood on the line, returned it. We were even able to get something while we were out there. Quick win, came back, jumped right into my day.
Yes, a box checked right there. Checked. Motivated. Let's do it. What's next?
Quick win. The next thing, I reached out to my mom. And usually every year we have a routine. She calls me up. I call her. She asks me when we can go get a tree because she only likes to have a live Christmas tree. This year wasn't really in the holiday spirit. We decided we're going to get her the tree anyway. Now for us, this is a growth moment because it's another opportunity to build the relationship and the connection.
Bonding time.
Also another memory. And it was the first time, babe, you saw a live Christmas tree.
It's the first time I've ever picked a Christmas tree.
Yes.
First time ever picking, even seeing like the real live Christmas trees, watching them cut it, package it, bringing it back to the house. First time, we didn't decorate it, but we put the lights on the tree. First time doing that. So that's a really nice experience I've shared with you and your mother. And she gave us some free decorations. Thank you, Mom.
Another area of growth for me was I started working out, y'all. I didn't
even know this. Yeah, so he's full of surprises this week.
Got up, went and did my thing. Started my day, so felt good about it and hoping to keep that going for next week.
Very proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Some of the growth that I had, I figured out a better schedule for myself. So originally I was trying to do a million things, but I was trying to set timers. It was unfulfilling for me. Like I wasn't feeling good about it because the things I wanted to continue working on, I had to literally force myself to stop. So what I decided is I will do a whole day, say, okay, this is my editing day. This is my music day. This is a recording day.
Pampering
self-care day. This is Bay Day. This is, family day. Yeah, like something like that. And I have organized it to a point where it feels good and I'm excited about it. And even because the days are so specific to one thing, I can just set my brain in the morning or even the night before. We'll listen to affirmations or we'll listen to a scripture or we'll listen to anything like that. I can listen to things referring to the day that I'm about to have. And I know what to expect and it gets me in a good place and momentum going. So speaking of momentum, I also did the low-hanging fruit that we spoke about in week 2. For me, the low-hanging fruit had to do with self-care. Maybe I'll do a facial. Maybe I'll like wash my hair, fix my hair, or something cute. Just to, check a box. I also still love the cleaning. So if I'm in the kitchen, I want to do some type of cleaning in there. Just something to just check a box and get the day going.
So babe, there is a growth moment that you had this week that I want to highlight. But if you remember, you had to reach out to a friend of yours about a situation and I saw how you were able to really manage your emotions and the words that you used in terms of what you were trying to say. It was very, very big of you because it is such a sensitive topic that you could have just wrote the first thing that came to your mind and just sent it. But seeing you actually take time to think about, pray about what you wanted to say, I think that was a huge growth moment. And I think that's something I could even learn from because there are times when the tendency is just to speak. So,
and don't get it wrong. I had to rewrite that message a few times because the initial one was not pleasant, but
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, it's about being intentional and growing. And when you care about the message, you have to be, and you care about the people, you have to take the time.
I think it makes sense to touch on this right before we get into struggles, but we had an elevated conversation.
Elevated.
I'm not going to call it an argument. It was an elevated conversation. For me, I tend to react in moments instead of responding and thinking about how I want to respond. So this week, what I decided to do was we're going to go for a drive. We're not going to just go back and forth. We're not going to just keep going at each other. Let's go for a drive, clear our heads, clear our thoughts, get some scenery in, maybe see some Christmas trees, Christmas lights, and just take some time to cool off, calm down. We both love going for drives. It's therapeutic for us both. So I decided to take that approach before trying to continue the conversation. And I think it went pretty well. We got to share our thoughts, our opinions, and we even were able to wrap it up by going to appreciate some scenery. Going right into struggles, de-escalating situations is something that I still continue to struggle with in moments because it's easy to react, right? In moments, you get hurt, you get upset, you get frustrated, so you react. And actually, in that elevated conversation that we were having, for me, babe, I felt that I wanted to voice how I was feeling because I still think there was some just misunderstanding and you didn't allow me a chance to express myself. Yes, I didn't do a good job of de-escalating the situation. Yes, it was a growth moment in terms of the approach of taking the drive. But I still do feel that that was an area where I did have some feelings that I wanted to express, but I wasn't able to.
Okay. If there are things that we have to do or get done, I just feel like it's not the time or place for the conversation. Also, I realize you and I have very different personalities. There is certain things that we will just not agree on. And to me, it's pointless talking about it because there's no actual resolution in it besides this is what you really believe and this is what I really believe. And that's okay. And then we move on from it. But I know you tend to feel like that's you not being heard. I just feel like you have an issue with apologizing and just we don't have to go back into the conversation once we apologize. We're actually a lot better now at walking away from situations. And when we walk away, there's clarity there. It's like, all right, this is a person I love. I understand where he was coming from and he understands where I'm coming from. Apologize. And it's like, let's move forward. But I feel like you don't like that.
So I wouldn't say I don't like it. I think there are moments, then yes, that is the approach. But I also do feel that there are some moments where if an apology is being given, there could be that chance that they're apologizing for something that actually wasn't necessarily something wrong that they did, but maybe just an approach that you might not like. So for example, maybe I put the cup on the left side instead of the right side, and you prefer the cup on the right side. Yes, it can be an apology for not putting on the right side, but then also if I might have wanted on the left side, like it's not really a right or wrong, it's a matter of preference. And I think when you apologize for preference versus being right or wrong.
But baby, that's what I'm saying. We get into arguments that tend to be about preference. That's where I'm like, look, we could take our space. You think this way, I think this way. This ain't no reason to be going to a full-blown argument. And my thing is we could both just apologize, and not go into a full-on reason behind, well, this is why I put the cup on the left side. Well, and then, because then I got to go into, well, you know, I like it on the right side. Where you going to put on the left side? We don't need to go there. It's like, you know what? You did this. I did this. Move on. There's no need for an explanation because trivial things don't need explanations to me. What is trivial?
But then why are apologies needed?
There's no need to be negative or to be yelling at your partner or be talking to your partner in any rude way, especially over something trivial. My thing is that's the apology, but then you will take it further into why it's not trivial or why you needed to say the point. Again, just certain things I feel like don't require full-on explanation because they have no solution. It's literally just, this is who you are. Do I accept it? Clearly I do. This is who I am. Do you accept it? Clearly you do. Over trivial things, not major things, but trivial things. As you said, I like the cup on the left. You like the cup on the right. It is what it is. Dwelling too much on small details will literally destroy your relationship. You can always find something to fight about. You have to pick your battles. And that is something that I have gotten very good at and that I would just want from you as well. This ain't worth my relationship. This ain't worth the peace right now.
Okay. What other struggles do you have for this week?
Okay. So because we talked about that, we could also talk about PMSing this week. I would just like to say that some women kill their boyfriends or their spouses while they're on their periods. Being self-aware of it is one thing. So I do track when that time of the month is happening for me. So I can usually tell a few days before. My attitude and my energy is very chaotic, you know? Sometimes I can control it, and sometimes it's very overwhelming, and it's just hard for me to control it. I don't always try to control it because some of it is truth that just needs to come out. But besides that, I am trying to work on controlling my PMSing because it is not fair to you sometimes. And I would like to commend you for being very supportive the last few months. Can I say period?
Yes, you can.
Oh my God. Okay. So when I do have my period, the second and third day are usually like the absolute worst for me, where I'm tired, I can't really do much, I'm angry, I'm emotional. And he has gotten to the point where I could just be like, baby, yeah, it came. And just so you know, like tomorrow I'm gonna need you, the day after I'm gonna need you. And he does take care of things, you know? I'll do what I can. Like for instance, even right now, this is day 3. I'm aware of when I have my bursts of energy, and I will try to do as much as possible while I have that energy. But he will make my tea. He will bring me food. Sometimes he'll just come and he'll just stay in the bed with me and cuddle with me if I don't feel like getting out of the bed. We'll watch movies. Very there for me. And I love and appreciate you for that, because I do see you trying to love on me in my time, in my monthly time of need. I would love to ask you, how is it dealing with my PMS?
It's horrible. It is an adjustment because it's understanding that the person is going through a moment in time that's not going to last forever. And sometimes it's hard because if I have my own stresses, right? Whether it's work, whether it's life, responsibilities, and then seeing you go through, it almost becomes an additional stress because I have to take this on and I can't share this load with you because I have to be there for you. So I just try to find ways to show up for you, and quick wins, right? Low hanging fruit. Make some tea, make some breakfast, rub your feet.
Yeah.
Just simple things where at least, okay, you feel a little better. That's one less thing on my plate. I expect it, and I manage my own expectations of how you may or may not respond in moments when you're going through that time of the month.
I would like to think that now, me being able to tell you, like, I need you to be super patient. Please watch what you're saying around me. Like, that stuff, making you aware of it.
Yeah.
Helps. And that's the overly communicating. That's what, guys, please don't be afraid of overly communicating anything to your partner. And if you are afraid, that's not your person. But I'm joking. Well,
That's
maybe. I don't know. But
if you're not able to do so, I would say it's something that you really, really need to work on, because things left unsaid sometimes can create the most issues for you.
Yes. Another struggle we had this week. Okay. We are a Christian couple. Yes.
Yes, we are.
Amen. We love God. We love Jesus.
We do.
But
I like the build up.
I would say, you know what? I won't use the word we right now. I struggle with abstinence in this relationship. And, let's define abstinence, because I want all of us to be on the same page. Abstinence is we are restraining ourselves from indulging in any sexual activities. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay. We did not start that way. Got a brief 6-8 months. A great 6-8 months. No, but we did have 6-8 months. And then it was just something spoken of, because he was previously married before me. He did wait till marriage the first time. Highly commended. Very, very admirable of you. So when he met me, I remember that was a conversation. It was a brief conversation he had. But at the time, I was not Christian. So I was like, bro, you are bugging. And, first 6-8 months, we were just kind of winging it, doing whatever. But there was also a lot of chaos in our relationship, too, with the first 6-8 months. And we were having fun, but it was chaos. And it took a very drastic moment in our relationship, but basically a breakup, where we had to really sit down and be like, okay, what needs to change? And I did want to try being abstinent. Little did I know the hell that No, it's something that you have to feel convicted about. And I love to say that I feel more convicted than before about being abstinent. Let me just say it is a struggle. And with me PMSing this week, and as a female, like, we want to feel that affection, but has to be a line, because we are also human, and flesh is a very powerful thing. And so when you're trying to convict yourself to remain abstinent and follow the word, there are just certain things you cannot do. And I will say that sometimes you got to just cry it out. Sometimes you got to get on the floor and just pray. Just keep praying and praying and praying until it goes away. And
well, let me jump in here, because I think another thing that I want to dispel, right? So there's abstinence and there's celibacy, right? So abstinence is waiting to then, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas celibacy is like completely no.
Good luck.
But no, I think with abstinence, it's really a mindset, but then it's also something you just can't do in your own flesh, right? And I have to go a little spiritual with it, because that's the only way to manage it in a healthy way and not feel depressed and not feel like your life is being turned upside down. But we're humans, we are flesh, but then we also have a spirit. Depending on which one you feed, that one will be stronger. And when it comes to something like abstinence, which is very much flesh driven, you have to feed the spirit side of you to be able to manage those moments where those urges and those feelings come. Mm-hmm. And, we've had conversations, and sometimes it's hard, especially when you have someone that you love, that you're spending your life with, and saying no to doing certain things.
Especially because we in the same household. That's not the best thing either. Right. I don't suggest it. If you are trying to be abstinent and just, restrain yourself, that's not exactly the best thing to be living in the same house, sleeping in the same bed sometimes.
Right. So what I'm saying is that you got to feed the spirit side, so that way when you have those flesh urges, you're able to manage it. And then, as I was saying, it's hard when you have someone that you love, someone that you care about, someone that you have an attraction to, someone that you view as beautiful, and someone that you desire, having to set that boundary and self-control. Yeah. But collectively, mm-hmm. it takes two people to hold each other accountable, which we're going to talk about a little later. What allows us to get through some of these moments, once we remember why we're doing it, and also the mindset that this is not forever, it's just until that time when we are married, it at least helps. But then also feeding the spirit side, that helps us to understand that, hey, we are not just flesh, we're mm-hmm. more than that. Yeah. And
it's something to just feel good to be like, yo, I'm not weak. I am not a weak human being who has to I'm so ready. And it's like, you can't control yourself. Like, you have no self-control. And honestly, it's very sad, but that's like the world we live in right now, where everything is so sexually driven. Like, nobody has any self-control.
A lot of folks, it's caused their life to be a lot harder than it needs to be.
Yes.
Lack of self-control, you end up in situations where there's infidelity. You end up in situations where there's unexpected pregnancies, STDs, right? There's a slew of things that can come from lack of self-control. Broken marriages, broken homes, broken relationships. So we're
not saying that abstinence is the cure of anything, but it's just, it makes everything so much more intentional, guys. Exactly. Like, you see your person. You're not just like, for women, I see it all the time, where like you start sleeping with a man, and next thing you know, you think you're so in love. And meanwhile, if you would have took more time, you would have saw the trash that you were letting into your body. And now that you think you're in love with it, it's like, you're not in love with that person. But you keep letting them feed your body. The flesh becomes weak. The flesh also lives off of memory too. And you attach that flesh and memory to that individual who is trash, and then you just make excuses for yourself.
Well, let's not call anyone trash, because everyone has the ability to become better. But it is a good point. And I think, especially when it comes to relationships and intimacy and interactions, you have to be very mindful and intentional and careful, because you can put yourself in a very bad position where you're tied to someone for those reasons. And believe it or not, later on, it'll get to a stage where you start to question, why are they with you? What's the real foundation of that relationship, if it was built off of just the physical?
But we will actually most likely do an episode strictly about abstinence, why we chose it, the struggles of it, the positivity.
The highs, the lows,
yeah. We'll do a full-on episode about that, because I have
sure
also
you like, subscribe.
Yes, and I've heard I've actually been approached by a lot of young men and women who were trying to get into abstinence and just had a lot of questions, and so that'd be really cool for us to actually answer that.
So what other struggles, babe, for you?
Having patience for each other. When I was writing that down for this week's struggle, I also decided to just define the word patience. And this is why I define words, because I realized we were not doing when we like to tell each other, oh, I'm being patient with you. I'm being patient. And really, we were not. So the definition of patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. The main two things there is
get angry.
Yeah, you can't get angry or upset. So, and you may think anger is like, well, I'm not cursing you out and screaming at you. So that means like I am showing you patience because I'm not doing that. But no, it's even in the subtle things. Patience is literally, okay, baby, take your time. What would you like to talk about? Like, you get what I'm saying? It's not like,
kindness should be paired with patience.
Yeah.
Not attitude, not aggression, not pettiness.
Yeah. So, like, if you're like, all right, what? Like, you know, like, what do you need? Like, I'm trying to be patient with you right now. What do you need? That's not patience. That is not patience. Patience actually looks very loving. So we just learned this like an hour ago. So now we will attempt to implement it for next week. So the next struggle for you struggle with being positive when it comes to financial situations. Yes. And just more so in the mindset of thinking positive and saying positive things. And this goes back to the affirmations that we love to talk about. Affirming is so important. If you want to affirm me positively and I want to affirm you positively, this works in every aspect of your life. And I have told you, like, you have to just say wonderful, beautiful things about any negative situation that you want to be positive.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll even take it a step further, because this week there were a couple of times where life is happening. I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm worried about Christmas coming around. You know, we have a wedding to plan. We have all this stuff going on. And I start thinking about, okay, stuff's going to cost some money, and how are we going to get through it? But in some of those moments, at least, I was able to reflect back to when we went the weekend of Thanksgiving, you know, sharing with some of the homeless folks that we saw on the street. It helped me in that moment to really reflect on what I was worried about. Because here I am thinking about how many gifts I'm going to be able to get and when I'm going to be able to order it. But the reality is there are folks out there, they're worried about if they're going to get a meal that day. And I'm here worried about what bills, what gifts I'm going to get. So I think in that moment, while I felt overwhelmed with the pressure of what I had to do, I was able to, for a second, manage my own thought process, which I encourage any of you, even in this season, the holiday season, try to appreciate what you do have and also refocus on what's really important.
Yeah, like for me, I didn't grow up celebrating Christmas. I feel like the gift giving can take away from Christmas. Because to me, you shouldn't feel bad walking into a house without a gift.
Hand swinging.
Yeah. Chilling. Hand swinging, chilling. But with a beautiful big heart.
We should do that this year. We should do that everywhere we go this year. But no, I get you. I got you.
But yeah, I just hate that. It's about family, you know? And of course, you know, Jesus' birthday, the Christian side of it. But really, these holidays, these big, big holidays, where a lot of people have time off, you're supposed to be spending it with your family, creating memories, and just enjoying your family. Not just like, I wonder what they got me, or this is what I got them. No, it's, you know, it's bigger than that. So the last struggle I would like to talk on, me struggling with physical appearance.
I just had like, beautiful.
No, I had like a day or two where I was just like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. But my friend Leah's 30th birthday, we went to a party. I just remember I hated my dress, my makeup, my hair. I was just like, But then when I got to that party, because you will never see me, like, I can feel however I feel on the inside, you will never see it. In public, you will never see it. I know I had to tell myself that you have to flip that switch, because from where I had to walk when I got into that party to where my friends were was literally right by the stage. And so everyone in that party is going to see you walk by. And I'm like, all right, I got to turn it on. I got to turn on that confidence. Even if I don't feel it, I got to turn it on. And I did. And I walked over to my friends. And as soon as I got to my friends, they were all like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. You just radiate. Everyone, the whole world stopped when you walked by. And I mean, those are my friends. So they're going to gas me up. It was a good reminder to myself that beauty comes from the inside. And I realized that when I am not good on the inside, I will not feel beautiful. It doesn't matter how many different people tell me that I am, I will not feel beautiful. And it just reminded me this week that I was PMSing, yes, but I also was not in my word. I wasn't connecting with self enough, you know? And I wasn't praying enough. And when I do that, there's always a disconnect, and there's a to sound corny, but there's like a hole happening when that happens. The world isn't all wonderful until you actually start doing those things. I did have like a day or two of just really, and I took it out on you.
It's okay.
Some parts, It's
okay.
Yeah, and you didn't deserve all of that.
I still love you.
And I feel beautiful again, so woo!
We're good.
Yeah. Okay, accountability.
Yes, let's talk accountability. And I'm going to reference that message that I shouted you out. Yeah, that you wrote to your friend, that I shouted out in terms of a growth moment.
That we rewrote plenty times.
We sat down together. We looked at the message. We looked at the words that were used. I even wrote my own version of it while you wrote your version. And then ultimately you wrote like a final version. And it was very intentional. And it was very much us working together to make sure that the message would be conveyed with love and clarity. And I thank you for allowing me to share that moment with you where I was able to play that accountability partner.
Yeah, so specifically, I needed him there, so I did not curse these people out. Self-awareness is the first thing to growth, because I know how I get especially when I'm very emotional or if I'm mad, I will say things that I will regret later. So I will write out things, send it to a friend. It don't matter what it is. I'll send it to a friend or have him. In this particular situation, I had asked you, TJ, to read what I'm writing and tell me what you think.
Yeah.
And then you made your points of like, look, you don't want to say this because it's going to sound like this. You don't want to say this. And we rewrote it a few times and we came to a final product that was, to me personally, beautiful. It was perfect and it was beautiful. Yes. Yeah. So, and I thank you for that, for being my accountability partner there.
And then another way that you held me accountable this week was, it's end of the year. I typically have my end of year meetings with my manager about my performance. And one of the things that you said to me as I was preparing for that meeting was to take a look back on the year before. What were some of the opportunities that I had, in addressing that in my year-end review? And that was super helpful, because that helped me, even in that discussion, to bring insight into the areas that I did improve. And it just goes to show, when you openly communicate with your partner in terms of what's happening with you, at any moment they can step up and be that accountability partner for you. So I do thank you for that. That was very much appreciated.
When I was telling you to speak positively about money, and I even did it for you. I was like, you are financially stable.
It was real early in the morning too.
It was so early.
I couldn't do it out loud. I just did it in my head. But yes.
But yeah, I put my hand in your chest and I was like, baby, we're not doing all this negativity right now. I'm like, look, you got this. Money is coming to you. You are going to be fine. Relax. You can affirm your partner, and it's a beautiful thing. But it's like, those real affirmations, you got to do it for yourself. You can't,
that is true.
Those I am statements, you have to say it for yourself. If you don't believe it, it don't matter how many people are affirming you. You have to believe it. Another way that I would just like to say is, I didn't really tell you how this. But anytime I take off my ring, and he will clean it for me. Like, he'll randomly take it, he'll clean it for me. And
not just regular clean, y'all. I'm talking.
Oh gosh, he does. He steams. Yes.
Every little speck of dust, dirt, grime out of there. But go ahead.
But yeah, you do this thing where when you give me my ring, you always go, will you marry me? Like, he'll ask the question again before putting the ring on my finger, especially when you did it today. As stressful as I've been to you with my opinion, oh God, can you pass me a napkin? When you asked me that question, it was like, he still loves me, and he will still, he still wants to be with me. Like, he will ask the question again. Even at my worst, he will still ask the question again. And to me, I don't know about for you, but to me, in those moments, it just makes me reflect on everything and be like, yo, this is the man that you love. You gotta do better. you want to do better, you know, and I just want to be better. Like I say this in every week episode, but it's like these things just make me remember like how much I love you. Just being a better woman for you, you know, and how to do that and how to grow in this relationship. So every time you ask me that question, it makes me feel safe and like you love me. I just want to do all these different things to make him like the happiest man in the world.
I do that because I like to remind you of how I feel about you every possible way I can in every possible moment. So I'm glad that me doing that and asking you that question over and over, which is intentional, because I can easily just say, here's a ring, put it on your finger. Yeah. But okay. So that's how I held you accountable this week.
That's how you hold the relationship accountable. And not even knowing, but you do.
I appreciate that.
Overall, okay, I'm a thug. Get it together. Anyways, so I just want to tap in some of the things that we need to work on for next week. This week, I really want to pray more. I want to be very much in the Word. I want to read my Bible. I just want to find time to connect with self. It's a big deal for me this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for me, I think just being more intentional about my thoughts and not going into these rabbit holes of anxiety and worry, but really, like you said, the positive affirmations, reflecting on what I am thankful for, but then also making sure that as you continue for the next couple of days of your PMS journey for the month, just really being supportive and patient as we define. That said, I think that's it for this week, right?
Yes. So guys, if you have any questions, comments that you would, anything you want us to be answering, yes, go right ahead. Just drop them right in that chat.
Drop them in the comments.
The comment
because
section,
this is not going to be a live chat. Yeah. Drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments.
Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you all next week.
Yes.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.